Now, I haven't been saying this a lot in 2019. This might be only my third or fourth time saying it, but I'm spoiling you guys. Yeah, it definitely, anytime I give you guys 3 videos, 3 days in a row, that means I'm spoiling you guys. For sure. So if I don't do any videos next week, particularly free videos, then don't be surprised, because I'm giving you 3 videos this week, 3 days in a row, which is, again, that's been rare for me in 2009. 2017, I did that a few times. 2018, yeah, I probably did it more times than I did in 2019. Anyway, 3/4 of the reason I'm doing this video is because somebody asked me. Now, I don't know if you've been paying attention to the news, but yesterday, the biggest news that was trending on Twitter and just was former NBC host Matt Lauer. And basically, he had, if you remember, he got fired last year because he got accused of sexual misconduct. Now, the allegation and accusation has escalated from simply unprofessional sexual misconduct to flat out rape, date rape. Yeah, it's gone from unprofessional sexual misconduct, which is not illegal. See, when you're guilty of unprofessional sexual misconduct, you might be guilty of violating one or more of your employer's policies and guidelines for proper employee behavior. But that doesn't involve legalities. That's not really anything illegal. But when you're accused of rape or date rape or some variation of sexual assault, then that brings in the factor of legalities. Like Harvey Weinstein, for example. Harvey Weinstein was accused by a lot of women of date raping them and sexually assaulting them and groping them without their consent. See, those are things that involve legalities. Whereas, again, stuff like sexual harassment in the workplace and what's considered unprofessional sexual misconduct, those are things that are more company-specific things. You're violating some policy or guideline in standard of behavior for an employee of that corporation or that company. But again, that doesn't necessarily mean you were doing something illegal. But before I get to Matt Lauer in a second, I'm going to be somewhat offering a rebuttal to some a black male podcaster said, and so I've been paying attention more and more to this particular, I'm not going to say his name just yet, this black male podcaster, because a couple of my followers have been paying attention to him. And they're asking me my opinions. And anyway, the most recent thing that a particular black male podcaster said, I just heard a brief clip. He said something about, here was his main assertion. He said, I don't think women should ever be in a position to choose or select men for romantic or sexual companionship. I think the man should always be in a position to choose or select the woman for romantic or strictly sexual companionship. Those weren't exact words, but generally that was his assertion. I'm paraphrasing a bit. And anyway, my follower asked me, did I agree with that, disagree with that, partially agree, whatever. Here's my thoughts on that real briefly. If anybody listened to me in my blog talk radio days, and I think I even expressed this in my audio book and even paperback version of Ooh Say It Again, this is what I've always said regarding men's roles and women's roles. Women are the gatekeepers. Women are the gatekeepers of sexual companionship, with the exception, of course, of rape and date rape and sexual assault. Rape, date rape, and some other variation of sexual assault would be the exception, of course. But coercion, basically, where you're not, seeking consent. But those exceptions aside, women are always going to be the gatekeepers of sexual companionship. Always. Hands down. There's just really no debate on that. Women are always going to be the gatekeepers of sexual companionship. On the flip side, I've always maintained that men are the gatekeepers of non-sexual companionship. They're the gatekeepers of their non-sexual time, attention, and companionship, which relates to my philosophy of no free attention, which is arguably the most ripped off and repeated and regurgitated personal philosophy that I have, as well as you're the gatekeeper of your financial resources and material possessions. So that's how I look at it. And what I would say beyond that is that, see, this all relates to, I'm going to reiterate once again, my 4 roles. Men fall into 4 roles in the eyes of women. Casual fuck buddy role, long-term boyfriend / future husband role, pay for play role, and purely platonic friend role. And I think depending on what role you're operating in or what role a woman sees you in is going to play a determining factor if you're in a position to be the chooser or the selector or to be the one that's chosen. Here's what I would say, and ideally, keyword on ideally. Ideally, I think when it comes to marriage and most long-term romantic relationships, that's when I feel ideally, keyword again, ideally, that men should be the ones who do the choosing and the selecting of their female companion and their future spouse. I think men should be. The most obvious sign is a man is the one who generally proposes marriage. So to me, by virtue of that, unless a woman is bullying him into proposing marriage, which some women do, it's been known some women will bully a man, particularly a beta male type, into marrying them. But with the exception if you're being bullied into proposing marriage to a woman, a man should always be the chooser or the selector for marriage and for most long-term romantic relationships. But again, switching roles, when it comes to casual sex, you're almost, at minimum, you're being unrealistic, and in some cases, you're being delusional if you think as a man you're always going to be the chooser or selector of a short-term, non-monogamous sexual companion. That's going to be minimal. I ain't going to say that's never going to happen, but that's going to be few and far between. In most situations, when you're talking about a short-term, non-monogamous casual sex relationship, women are generally going to be the choosers and the selectors. That's just a reality of life. When it comes to casual sex, greater than 50% of the time, women are going to be the choosers and the selectors for casual sex companions. They're not going to leave it up to men to choose them. They're going to generally be, again, there's going to be exceptions, but generally speaking, women are always going to be the choosers for short-term, non-monogamous casual sex type companionship. One other thing I heard this black male podcaster saying, then I'll move on to Matt Lauer, is he said something to the effect, and I'm paraphrasing, so these are not verbatim, but he said, If you as a man allow women to choose you as a romantic companion or a strictly sexual companion, then 9 times out of 10, that woman is going to be of low quality. That woman is going to be of low quality. I have issues with generalizations like that. I've made that clear for the last probably 10, 15 years. I have issues when people use these generalized terms such as good man, good woman, quality man, quality woman, high value man, high value woman. I have some issue with those type of labels for the simple fact that for me, just speaking for myself, they're too general, vague, and ambiguous for me. Those type of terms are too general, vague, and ambiguous for me. When you use those type of terms, like you label somebody a good man or a good woman, or a quality man or a quality woman, or a high value man or high value woman, you're going to have to give me specifics about what your criteria is. You're going to have to give me specifics on what your criteria is. Like you notice in my book, The Beta Male Revolution, when I make the delineation between total alpha male with beta traits, a beta male with alpha traits, and total beta male, I am fairly specific about the specific attributes, behavioral habits, and general characteristics that distinguishes each of those 4 categories. I don't just throw out those labels and leave them general. I'm fairly specific about what distinguishes a total alpha male from, say, an alpha male with beta traits, what distinguishes an alpha male with beta traits from a beta male with alpha traits, and so on. You got to give me specifics. So let's give a couple examples. If you call, I've heard different podcasters say, well, I think there are a lot of women in society who ignore good men. What does that mean? In specific terms, what does that mean? What is a good man? What is a good man? To me, some people would say that's easy to comprehend, but for me, that's too general. That's too vague and ambiguous. Same similar term would be quality man and quality woman. What's a quality woman? Are you basing that on looks? Are you basing that on level of intelligence and education? Are you basing that on if a woman's monogamy oriented or promiscuous? Are you basing that on if a woman goes to church every Sunday? Are you basing that on if a woman is good with children versus not good with children? Are you basing that on is she a virgin or not? Are you basing that on does she use drugs or not use drugs? Are you basing that on does she use profanity or not use profanity? Are you basing that on does she come from a 2-parent family or a 1-parent family? Are you basing it on does she have a great relationship with her mother and or father, or a dysfunctional relationship with her mother and her father? I need some criteria for that shit. That's just me. I ain't saying anybody should need criteria, but I'm saying I do. When you use terms like good man, good woman, quality man, quality woman, high value man, high value woman, you're going to have to give me some specifics. And that's going to determine whether I agree with your assertion or disagree with your assertion. Is you're going to have to give me some criteria. Because, again, this Black Male Podcast, he made the comment again, I slightly paraphrase. He said, if you're a man and you allow women to choose you or select you as either a romantic, long-term romantic companion or even a short-term non-monogamous sexual companion, he said essentially 9 times out of 10 is going to be a low-quality woman. My question to him would be, what's your definition of a low-quality woman versus a high-quality woman? Give me at least 5 to 10 specific criteria what you're talking about. Like, if I had to give some examples, I know some men have defined a good man as a guy who doesn't cheat. Like, I heard at least one podcast, that was his main definition for a good man. He said a good man is a man that doesn't cheat on his wife, fiance, or girlfriend. Well, what if a man is very monogamy oriented, but he has a regular or semi-regular cocaine habit? You still gonna call him a good man? What if he likes to beat his wife, be real physically abusive and verbally abusive with his wife, fiance, or girlfriend, but he doesn't cheat on her. Is he still a good man? What if he got 2 kids by 2 different baby mamas, but he never cheats on his wife, fiance, or girlfriend? Is he still a good man? What if he's financially irresponsible and erratically unemployed? He's always in and out of a job, got a lot of financial struggles, but he never cheats on his wife, fiance, or girlfriend. Is he still a good man? What if he has a dysfunctional relationship with his mother to the point where he ain't spoken to his mother in 5, 10, 15 years, but he never cheats on his wife, fiance, or girlfriend? Is he still a good man? See, all that shit's important to me. I ain't about these one-note definitions, man. You know, again, this one podcast, I heard his main definition for a good man was somebody who doesn't cheat. I can name a lot of shit that would make a guy still fucked up that doesn't cheat. There's a lot of shit that would still, for me, would make a guy still fucked up that doesn't cheat. On the flip side, I've heard guys define a quality woman as simply a woman who's good looking. A lot of men, they'll say they'll define a quality woman as a woman who's on a scale from 1 to 10, a 7, 8, 9, or 10. They'll consider that a quality woman. Well, what if a woman is drop dead gorgeous, but she uses cocaine on a weekly basis? For me, that ain't no quality woman. What if a woman's drop dead gorgeous, but she got 3 kids by 2 different men? Got a bunch of baby daddies. For me, that ain't no quality woman. What if a woman's drop dead gorgeous, but she's a pathological liar, or a materialistic gold digger, or a master manipulator? That ain't no quality woman in my eyes. So you got to give me some criteria with this, man. When you talk about, when you use terms like good man and good woman, quality man, quality woman, high value man, high value woman, you got to give me at least 5 to 10 specific criteria to support that label. Because otherwise, I'm going to have a lot of contentions about that label. And again, the main thing, that's going to determine whether I agree with what your particular assertion is or whether I disagree. Because, and for a lot of people, what they define as good or quality or high value is going to be subjective. It's going to range from man to man and woman to woman. Like, I think if you would ask 10 different women their definition of what a good man is, you're going to get probably at least 5 different definitions and descriptions. Same with men. If you would ask 10 men what a good woman is or a high quality woman is, you're going to probably get at least 4 or 5 different definitions and descriptions. Because different people, I did an article about that. In, matter of fact, yeah, Negro Manosphere. I did at least one article about that. Where I actually have, within the article, I actually have a quiz included, or a survey, I should say, not so much a quiz, a survey where I asked men what specific attributes and behavioral traits, both physical and non-physical, are important to you. And of course, I got a wide range of responses. Some men rank beauty as the most important attribute in a woman. Some men ranked intelligence as the most important attribute. Some men ranked femininity as the most, matter of fact, quite a few men ranked femininity as the most important attribute. Some men, there was 2 or 3 other attributes that men ranked important, like how monogamy oriented the woman was, etc. It's going to range, man. So yeah, man, I don't like when people use those terms without also identifying the criteria that they're using to define those terms. Man, I don't like that. Again, that's more so an Alan Roger Currie thing. I'm not saying everybody should be like me and be nitpicky and pedantic and meticulous like that. But I'm very meticulous and pedantic when it comes to people using those terms without supporting it with specific criteria. Because again, as it relates to my 4 roles again, and then I'll wrap up on this particular point, you could be a high quality fuck buddy, but a low quality boyfriend. Just keeping shit real. As a man, I know that for a fact. As a man, like I use myself as an example. and I've pointed this out before with me. I know when I was in my 20s and most of my 30s, there were a lot of women who would categorize me as highly desirable as a fuck buddy, as a casual sex fuck buddy. But when it came to evaluating me as a potential long-term boyfriend, future husband, they would basically have this type of attitude like, nah, Alan, you don't cut the mustard. Mm-mm. You're erratically employed. You don't really make no money. You're damn near broke. I would never date you as a boyfriend, have you as a boyfriend or a husband. But for like a casual fuck buddy, they were like, oh, I love you as a casual fuck buddy. I love you as a casual fuck buddy. And see, that's why I always distinguish between those four roles, because you can be highly appealing to a woman as a purely platonic friend, but if you try to present yourself as boyfriend material, woman be like this. Or if you try to present yourself as a casual fuck buddy, she'll be like this. But as a platonic friend, she'll be like this. You might be, because you're very financially generous, if you present yourself as a pay for play, trick, sugar daddy, or some other variation of those two, a woman might give you thumbs up. But you try to present yourself as a casual fuck buddy who wants to fuck her for free without spending no money on it, she's going to go. So a lot of it depends on what role a woman sees you in terms of whether a woman's going to consider you very appealing or unappealing. Like my simple delineation between, you notice more than probably any other person in the manosphere, I've always distinguished between the appeal of a man and woman's sexual companionship and the appeal of a man and woman's non-sexual companionship. I was probably the first person in the manosphere to really make that distinction in a repeated and emphatic manner. And the reason why is because I know for a fact, man, that there's a lot of men that women find very appealing non-sexually, but sexually they find unappealing, and vice versa. You know, like, again, using myself, I know when I was younger, there were a lot of women who found me appealing sexually, but to a large extent, they found me unappealing non-sexually. Then I had a handful of women that were just the opposite, that found me very appealing non-sexually, but they didn't find me appealing sexually. Like, also, like, I know when I was young, I always got high marks from women when it came to my looks and sex appeal. When it came to the category of looks and sex appeal, I generally always got high marks from women when I was in my 20s and 30s. But on the flip side, when it came to being evaluated in terms of level of career success and level of financial success, I always typically got thumbs down from women. Women would be like, Alan, you need to get your act together. You're broke. You don't make no money. So I would simultaneously for women get a thumbs up and a thumbs down. When it came to looks and sex appeal and charm and charisma, I generally got a thumbs up from women that I dealt with. But when it came to evaluate me on things like, you know, the potential to be a future husband, I got thumbs down. So anyway, I covered this longer than I wanted to, but it was on my mind. I just had to get it out. Now, switching to Matt Lauer. I had a couple people ask me about Matt Lauer. Again, he was like probably one of the number one focal points in the news, in mainstream media news yesterday, Wednesday. Because he got fired last year because one of his NBC colleagues came and accused him of unprofessional sexual misconduct and I think sexual harassment. But at the time he got fired, a lot of the details were kept under wraps. There was not a lot of specifics that were made public about exactly why he got fired, like what he specifically did to get fired. Well, it turns out now there's a book that's coming out where his accuser has revealed more details. And what she basically revealed, her name is Brooke Nevels. Brooke Nevels is Matt Lauer's accuser. And what she essentially says in this book that's coming out, or it might already be out, is that Matt Lauer date raped her, more specifically, anally anally date raped her. I have a lot of mixed feelings on this scenario involving Matt Lauer. In some respects, I have harsh criticisms of him, and in some respects, I at least partially defend him. And here are my thoughts before I wrap up this video. Number one, Matt Lauer was married when he was fucking around with this woman. And I think everybody does know, or if they don't know, they should know. I don't like cheating. I don't. I don't like cheating. I don't like men who cheat. I don't like women who cheat. I don't. I've gotten into like heated disagreements and arguments with some of my close friends about the subject of cheating. I frown on people who cheat. Now, I know the first thing somebody gonna say is, well, Alan, I could have swore that you said when you were between the age of 17 and 37, you used to fuck women who were married, engaged to be married, or women who had long-term boyfriends. So if you hate people who cheat so much, why were you fucking those women? I never said I respected those women when I was fucking them. That's one thing I always have to point out. I never said I respected those women when I fucked them. A lot of those women, I told them to their face that they were sluts. I told them directly. I said, you're a slut for cheating on your husband. You're a slut for cheating on your fiance. You're a slut for cheating on your boyfriend. I would tell them that. So it ain't like just because I was fucking them that I was lenient about my criticisms. I still criticize women, even when I used to fuck. Now, I stopped around the age of 38. Yeah, the last time I fucked a woman who either had a husband, a fiance, or a long-term boyfriend, I want to say it was when I was 37 years old. Now, there's been a few times after that I had the opportunity to, but I didn't pursue it. And I think there's also been a handful of times I've had phone sex with a woman who was married, engaged to be married, or had a boyfriend. But as far as intercourse, oral sex or intercourse, yeah, the last time I had sex with a woman who had a husband, a fiance, a boyfriend was when I was 37 years old, which would have been in 2000. Yeah, I was 37 in the year 2000. Yeah, 2000 would have been the last year I had sex with a woman who had a husband, a fiance, a boyfriend. But anyway, yeah, I frown on cheating. I don't respect men who cheat. For men, I think it's cowardly. If I had to use one word, I think it's cowardly. Because to me, man, if you got to cheat on your wife, fiance, or girlfriend, then to me, this is my Alan Roger Currie's opinion, you don't have strong game with women. I'll tell you that directly. You don't have strong game. It's plain and simple. Because if you, and I told y'all, man, in 2006, I almost got into a fight with a dude in Chicago over this argument. Because there was this guy at this speaking engagement I did that he kept describing himself as one of the top player pimps in the city of Chicago. But yet he was openly admitting to me that all the women he was having sex with, he was giving them the misleading impression that they were his girlfriend. And I basically told him to his face, and he was a big dude too. He about 6'5", just size-wise, he could have handled me. Even though I do have martial arts training, but he could have handled me. But I told him to his face, I said, man, you ain't no player pimp. If you got to cheat on women or give women a misleading impression that they're the only woman you fucking, then that means your game is weak. I told him that directly. I said, your game is weak, man. Any guy who's been a pimp or a top-notch player knows, man, when you got strong game, you ain't got to lie to no women and you ain't got to cheat on no women. You just tell your woman what your program is and she adheres to your program. That's how Alan Roger Currie has always rolled. Man, I can't remember the last time I cheated on a woman. That's real talk. There's only been 1 or 2 times in my entire life that I cheated on a woman. That was when I was in my teenage years or very early 20s, like 20 or 21. But I would say starting roughly the age of 22 up until now, and I'm 56 now, I ain't never cheated on no woman. If there's 2 or more women I want to fuck, if I got a girlfriend at the time or a romantic companion at the time, I would tell that woman, I would say, hey, I'm going to be fucking other women. More than likely, I'll probably tell you about it, but I'm going to be fucking other women. I don't do the cheating thing. I don't believe in that shit. To me, that's antithetical to being Mo 1. Cheating is antithetical to Mo 1. To me, if you got strong game, you should never have to cheat on a woman, ever. Like, I have criticism. I love Tiger Woods as a golfer, man, but this situation he had with his ex-wife, where he got caught cheating, man, a guy of Tiger Woods' wealth should have never had to cheat. Man, if I had Tiger Woods' wealth, man, I would be, any woman I dealt with, I'd be like, bitch, I'm fucking every fine bitch I meet. And you gonna have to deal with it. Or else, stop. Seriously, that's how I would have rolled. I would have been like, hey, baby, I love you. I'm going to take care of you financially, but I'm going to keep it real with you. If I'm on the road and I run into some fine, sexy women, there's a 90 to 99% chance I'm going to be fucking them. I'm going to fuck them. If you ain't cool with that, let me know now so I can get somebody to replace you. That's just how it is, man. No man should have to cheat on a woman, man. If he got strong game, you should never, ever, ever have to have a mistress or a side piece. A guy with strong game should have nothing but concubines. Concubines. Again, to refresh your memory in case you forgot what that is. A concubine, it mainly applies to married men, but you can say informally it could apply to unmarried men. But when a concubine is a married man's additional lover that his wife knows about, as opposed to, say, a mistress. A mistress is when you have an additional lover that your wife doesn't know about. You're fucking another woman behind your wife's back. A concubine is when you have an additional lover that your wife knows you fucking. Your wife knows you fucking another woman in addition to her. And informally, even if you're not married, yeah, that's what I believe in. I believe in concubines, man, and just polyamorous lovers. Yeah, that would probably be the best title for an unmarried additional lover, would simply be a polyamorous lover. You have a fiance or a girlfriend, and you also have polyamorous lovers. But yeah, man, I don't believe in the cheating shit. That's bullshit, man. You weak. I'll tell you. Again, you know my thing. Give me your phone number. I'll tell you directly. You're weak. If you got to resort to cheating, you're weak. Your game is weak. Your game ain't strong. You can argue that all day, and I'm gonna break you down. I'm gonna shred you to pieces in a debate. Let's debate. I'll shred you to pieces. If you got to cheat, your game is weak. Your game is weak. You ain't got no strong game if you got to cheat. If you got to cheat behind your wife's back, behind your fiance's back, behind your long-term girlfriend's back, that means your game is weak. Your game is not as strong as a motherfucker like me. Again, I ain't had to cheat since I was like, last time I got cheated on was when I was like either 20 or 21 years old. Was the last time I cheated on a woman. Starting with the age of 22, I ain't never cheated on a woman. I ain't never cheated on a woman. I tell women straight up that I'm going to fuck who I want to fuck. When it comes down to the nitty gritty, I'm going to fuck who I want to fuck. I'm going to usually be honest about it. But I'm going to fuck who I want to fuck. So that's where I have the most criticisms against Matt Lauer. Is that he, more than anything else, is that he cheated. He cheated on his wife, man. He cheated on his wife. A few times, actually. Not just with this woman that accused him of date rape, but he's cheated on his wife quite a few times. Matt Lauer used to stay in the tabloids for cheating. He was like a habitual cheater. See, that blows my mind, man. My question is always, man, if you, I halfway give a guy a pass if he cheats like once every blue moon. You know, like once every, 2 or 3 years or something. But man, when you cheat on your wife, fiance, or girlfriend, say on a yearly basis, a monthly basis, a weekly basis, why the fuck are you in a relationship? That's really what I want to know. Why the fuck are you in? Why the fuck are you married? Or why the fuck are you even in a relationship? Why, deep down, I know the reason why. And I said this at the 21 convention. The number one reason why men who have highly promiscuous tendencies still tend to get married or still tend to get into long-term relationships is because they don't want their wife, fiance, or girlfriend fucking other dudes. That's half the reason why a lot of men get into marriages or get into long-term relationships. It's not because they have reached a point where they want to stop fucking multiple women, but it's more so because they don't want their wife, fiance, or long-term girlfriend fucking multiple men. But guess what? Greater than 50% of the time, those women who you think ain't fucking multiple men are. I'm living testimony to that. They are. Believe that shit. And also, I would say greater than 50% of the time, those women who you think don't know you cheating on them, they know. Like, I've had friends and frat brothers of mine who were cheating on their wives or girlfriends, and they would always talk to me as if their wife or girlfriend didn't know. But when I would talk to their wife or girlfriend, they would tell me. They'd be like, I know he's cheating on me. They would tell me. They would say, I know so-and-so's cheating on me. I know he's cheating on me. Women ain't stupid. Women know when you cheating. Trust me. Half the time you think women don't know you're cheating, they know you're cheating. Unless they're just really young, naive, and borderline stupid. That's the only time. Women who are young, naive, and borderline stupid tend to be the ones, oh my God, I thought he was in love with me. I didn't know he was cheating on me. But most women who are, say, I don't know, 25 years of age or older, come on, man. They know when a motherfucker cheating on them. And more often than not, they cheating on that motherfucker too. With a motherfucker like me. Or at least I used to do that. Again, I don't do that no more. But anyway, here's where I defend Matt Lauer. Now, Matt Lauer, he's been silent about this whole thing since he got fired from NBC. But he came out yesterday and defended himself, which I don't blame him for doing so. And he basically refuted the allegation and accusation that he date raped this woman. He said the whole incident was consensual. And this brings me to something that I actually wrote an article about when I used to write for the Examiner.com. I wrote for the Examiner.com between 2009 and 2015. And one of the things I talked about, and see, this is one of the reasons why I personally favor BDSM-oriented relationships. Like my current relationship with my current girlfriend, we have a lot of elements of BDSM in our relationship. And some of this is going to be a rehash of videos I did just recently in the last 2 to 3 weeks. If you remember, I did a video on date rape and preventing yourself from false date rape charges. And along the same lines, I did a video about consent and BDSM safe words and contracts. See, here's a word that in a conventional relationship can have two meanings. And it's a tricky word. And that's simply the word no. No is a tricky word, man, when you're in a conventional relationship. Why? Because there's two ways a woman can use the word no. Like, for example, the woman, Matt Lauer's accuser, Brooke Neville's, she said as he was about to fuck her in the ass, and while he was fucking her ass, she said no. But Matt Lauer said that's not true. He didn't totally say she didn't say no, but he implied that she said no like, see, I think most men know this. I don't think I have to explain to you, but here's two ways a woman can say no. Let's say you getting ready to fuck a woman in the ass. And a woman looks you dead in your eyes with a firm, serious voice that says, Brian, no. No. I'm not down for that. No. I mean, most men, unless they just an overly aggressive asshole who's into coercion, they're going to respect that. If a woman says to you, looks you dead in your eye, and says you with a firm, serious voice, no. I don't want to suck your dick. I don't want you putting your dick in my pussy. I don't want you putting your dick in my ass. No. Most men are going to stop. Most. Keyword most. Unless, if a man, again, is just an asshole or he's drunk or whatever. But then there's, as most men also know who've been with quite a few women, there's more of a resistant no. It's not a flat out stop right now. No, it's more of a resistant no, like, no, Alan, no, Alan, a firm no. That's more of a, I really want you to continue doing what you're doing, but I got to act like the good girl, so I'm going to give you the token. No, please don't do that. See, again, to reiterate the concept of BDSM safe words, it nullifies all that bullshit. See, there's no ambiguity with BDSM safe words. See, to refresh your memory, when you're in a BDSM relationship, there's two main safe words. One is red or strawberries. That means stop right now. No questions asked, just stop. Whatever you're doing, stop. When a woman says red or strawberry, that means whatever you're doing or thinking about doing, you just stop. You could be in the middle of stroking that woman's pussy, sliding your dick in and out of a woman's pussy, in and out of mouth, or in and out. Well, shit, it's going to be hard for her to say red strawberries. You got a dick in here. You got your dick in her mouth. But if you got your dick in a woman's pussy or ass and she says red strawberry, that means for you to just stop immediately. Otherwise, you're guilty of abusing her. Like, if I was doing anything sexually with my girlfriend and she said red or strawberries, I stop like that. Stop like that. Yellow means, the second safe word is either yellow or banana. Yellow or banana. What that means is, I don't want you to stop, but I want you to tone down the harshness of either a physical admonishment or punishment or a verbal admonishment or punishment. I want you to tone down the harshness of it. That is yellow. So, like, let's say I'm spanking a woman's butt with my hand. I'm spanking her on her ass, and she feels like I'm spanking her ass too hard to the point where it hurts. She might say, sir, yellow, or sir, bananas. That means I don't necessarily want you to stop spanking me, but I want you to tone down the velocity and harshness of the spanking. So that's what I adhere to. Any man who's involved in a BDSM relationship adheres to those safe words: red/strawberries and yellow/bananas. See, because the term stop and no, again, both those words can go either way. You can have a woman say stop or no in a firm, serious way. Or you can have a woman say stop, no, stop. And see, again, with Matt Lauer, what it sounds like Matt Lauer was saying is that she never gave me a firm, serious no. She gave me more of a, no, man, don't do that. Don't fuck me in the ass. No. And he fucked her in the ass. But here's the most telling thing he said, assuming this is true. I'm going to assume that this is true. I don't know for a fact. But he said one of the biggest things that proves he didn't really date rape her, he said, if I had date raped this woman, that would mean she would feel uncomfortable with me having sex. And if she felt uncomfortable with me having sex, she would have tried to abruptly leave the room, which I agree with. But he said before she left the room after he had sex with her, anal sex with her, he said she gave him a hug and a kiss. Now, unless he has video evidence of that, is hearsay, he say, she say. But I'll be honest with you, I believe him. Because if he had truly raped her, man, why wouldn't she call the police? Why wouldn't she get the police involved? Why wouldn't she get the police involved? You know, I like to give women the benefit of the doubt, man, but to me, man, I don't know, man. I'm on Matt. I ain't gonna say I'm 100% on Matt's side, but for the most part, I'm on Matt's side with this, man, because this Me Too movement, man, it lets a lot of women get away with these invalid allegations. A lot of stuff ain't just adding up, man. A lot of stuff ain't adding up. Like he said, man, it looks like she's trying to make some money off of a book. I mean, Matt Lauer, I mean, I don't see him as a guy who would just brutally just date rape the bitch. Like, you know, without feeling like she was down for it. So I think that's some bullshit. So again, to wrap up, my criticism of Matt is simply the fact that he was cheating on his wife. He should have told us. He should have lobbied for a polyamorous relationship, polyamorous marriage with his wife, an open marriage with his wife. But so I don't give him no respect for cheating. But on this whole date rape accusation, I don't believe that woman, Britt Neville, man. I think she's embellishing a lot of things. I think she's fudging the details to make him look bad and then help herself monetarily. Yeah. So anyway, all that to say, man, go back and listen to those last 2 videos where I explain how you can prevent being in a Matt Lauer situation. I've given you the blueprint for preventing those type of scenarios, man. Consent is important, man. You got to always make sure you get consent from women. Now, in my Patreon exclusive portion, I am going to briefly talk about the subject of confidence. Because I was asked recently by a client of mine, Alan, how can you really have confidence with women if you feel like your bedroom skills are average or even less than average? If you feel like your bedroom skills, sex skills are at best average and in some cases less than average, how can you project a high degree of confidence and self-assurance? I'm going to address that in my Patreon exclusive portion. Okay. I had a client ask me just yesterday, I think, or today. He asked me a question. He said, Alan, you talk about confidence a lot, about when you socially interact with women, projecting an above average degree of self-confidence and self-assurance. But he went on to say, I'm paraphrasing his words, he said, I would think you mean that if you feel like you're exceptional in bed, it would be easy to project a high degree of confidence and self-assurance. But he said, what if you're a guy who genuinely feels like you're only average in bed or even less than average in bed, or you just have very little experience with women? How do you project a high degree of confidence and self-assurance with women? Well, my simple response to that is your confidence and your sense of self-esteem should never be solely and specifically based on or predicated on your bedroom skills. Because number one, like looks, bedroom skills are subjective. For example, you can have sex with, say, 3 different women over the course of a month. And one woman might give you 5 stars on a 1 to 5 star scale. One woman might give you 3.5 stars. And one woman might give you 2 stars. Even though you might have performed exactly the same with each woman. Bedroom skills are subjective, man. Similar like I did that video about saying that looks is subjective in the eyes of most women. I would say the same thing about bedroom skills. There's no universal standard for what makes a man dynamic in bed. The closest thing I would say to a universal standard for being good in bed is simply, did you cause the woman to have an orgasm? Generally, I would say if you had sex with a woman and you caused her to have at least 1 orgasm, then that generally means you're at minimum at least average to slightly above average in bed. If you cause her to have at least 1 orgasm. If you cause her to have 2 or more orgasms, then you're definitely above average in bed. Anytime you have sex with a woman, you cause her to have 2 or more orgasms, then that definitely means you're at minimum above average, if not exceptional in bed. And if you cause her to have at least 1 orgasm, that means you're at least average in bed. If you fail to cause a woman to have an orgasm, then yeah, that's when you open the door for a woman. I'm gonna tell you the 2 times when women are generally going to consider you less than average in bed is if you, number one, just simply fail to get their pussy wet in the first place. That's the number one thing that's going to get you low marks, is if you just don't even get a woman's pussy wet. Number 2, you get a woman's pussy wet, but you come too quick. Like you start fucking in like a minute or 2 after you start fucking and you come, leaving her still horny and wet. you're going to get low marks in bed. Third, having a lot of erectile dysfunction problems. For example, your dick can't get hard at all, or it keeps getting hard, going soft, getting hard, going soft, getting hard, going soft, getting hard, going soft. That's going to cause you to get low marks. Being selfish. Just caring, having sex with a woman, you give a woman the impression all you care about is your own orgasm and you don't give a fuck about their orgasm. That's going to cause you to get low marks in bed. But all that said, that should not be the basis for your sense of confidence with women. When I socially interact with women, the number one thing that's the basis for my confidence is just simply, number one, the fact that I was bold enough to take action to approach her and initiate a conversation with her. That's the number one thing that gives me is the basis for my confidence, is the fact that simply I was bold enough to approach her and initiate a conversation with her. And secondly, that I was bold enough to straightforwardly let her know why I really wanted to talk to her and why I really wanted to share her company. To me, that alone is the basis for probably like 80 to 90% of my confidence when I talk to women, is the fact that I'm just a bold, outspoken motherfucker. It had nothing to do with my bedroom skills. Matter of fact, I've always told men, when you talk to women, you should never try to be braggadocious anyway regarding your sex skills. You should never allow yourself to be braggadocious when it comes to your sex skills. Because sex is so subjective. Like, you might tell a woman, brag to a woman that you're going to be 5 stars in bed, but then after y'all have sex, she might consider you only 3.5 stars or 2 stars. I mean, here's what I always say, man. This goes back to an infamous Michael Jordan quote that I've used a few times. I remember one time Michael Jordan was being interviewed, and he was talking about dunking a game where he dunked on 2 or 3 guys at the same time. And somebody from the audience said, Michael, I love you and I respect you, but don't you think just now you were guilty of bragging? And Michael Jordan said, no. He said, bragging, being boastful or braggadocious, is when you're talking about what you're capable of doing. What you're capable of doing. He said, for example, if I was to tell you that 2 weeks from now, I have the talent and capability to dunk on 2 men at the same time or 3 men at the same time, he said that would be an example of me bragging, because I'm telling you what I'm capable of doing. He said, but if you're talking past tense, if you're talking about something you already done, he said, that's not bragging. He said, that is me just recounting my personal history and achievements to you. And then he chuckled after that. Everybody in the audience laughed. But that's the truth. That's generally how I feel about the subject of being boastful or braggadocious. In other words, to put a sexual example, if I was to talk to a woman and say, I guarantee you I can make you come 3 times when I have sex with you. I guarantee you I can make you come have a minimum of 3 orgasms when I have sex with you later on this week or this weekend. See, that's bragging, because that would be me talking about what I'm capable of doing. Now, on the flip side, let's say I've already had sex with a woman, and after the sex is over, I'm like, yeah, I made you come 3 times. I made you come 3 times. That's not bragging. That's me, in Michael Jordan's terminology, that's me recounting my personal history. I'm just telling you facts. I'm telling that woman facts. If I talk about it after the fact. So I don't like to tell a woman what I'm capable of doing in bed. I've done it every blue moon in a lighthearted way, not in a real serious, more in a lighthearted way. But generally, man, I don't like to be sexually braggadocious with women, man. Like, because again, number one, that could be a potential turnoff. And number two, you don't know if you're going to have an off night. You might have an off night or something. Now, I'll say this. One thing I am somewhat braggadocious about is not my ability to make a woman come in bed, but just simply my ability to get a woman sexually aroused. Now, I've been braggadocious in that regard with a lot of women. in the sense that I'll say stuff like, I know I can get your pussy wet. I know I'm going to get your pussy wet. I'm pretty confident on my ability to get a woman's pussy wet because I know I'm real good at talking dirty. But yeah, your confidence and your overall level of self-assurance with a woman shouldn't be based on how much experience you've had with women sexually. The main thing that should be the basis for your self-confidence with women is simply the fact that you were bold enough to approach that woman, bold enough to initiate a conversation with that woman, and bold enough to let her know within the first 5 to 10 minutes of the conversation why you're really holding a conversation with her and why you really want to share her company in the near or distant future. That should be the primary basis of your confidence. That should be the primary basis of your confidence. So the fact that you're a virgin, or the fact that you haven't been in bed with a woman in over a year, or the fact that you've only been in bed with 2 or 3 women your entire life, those should be almost irrelevant factors when it comes to your confidence. Those shouldn't even be major contributing factors to your level of self-confidence. Mode 1, the fact that in simple terms, the fact that you got the balls to be mode 1 with a woman should be the primary basis for your confidence with women. Just the fact that you got the balls to be mode 1, exhibit mode 1 behavior with a woman. That should be the basis for your confidence. Get it? Got it? Good. Okay. I got, in about 45 minutes or so, I'm going to be doing a live stream. So, for my $5 subscribers and up. So, join me there.